heated pennant races. Let's head out to the Bronx. Here's Joe Buck.
Matt, this is the Subway Series. And the Mets are feeling good, having surprised most everyone with their success so far this season. While with typical Yankee determination, the Bronx Bombers have overcome a slow start and are back in pennant contention. Once again, we'll try and establish city dominance on home turf. This is baseball night in America. There is David Wright. There is Derek Jeter. It is the Mets and the Yankees, and the fans are packed into Yankee Stadium here in the Bronx. That's the place the Yankees call home. And it's this Subway Series tonight for you on Fox. And now welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck. Tim McCarver and Ken Rosenthal are both coming up. Well, it's been an interesting start to the season for each side, both the Mets and the Yankees. They've been pretty good so far here in 2012. For the Yankees, the expectation seems to always be there that they'll be at the top of the division when the season comes to a close. But for the Mets, especially this season, nobody expected anything. Yet there they are, within shouting distance of first place in the NL East. And these are two teams, Tim McCarver, with the same total of wins at 32, and yet they've done it in very different ways.
Boy, I should say so. You could look around the major leagues and not find two teams any more different than the Yankees and the Mets. Two examples of that. The New York Yankees have 25, I beg your pardon, they lead the major leagues in home runs. The Yankees leading, and the Mets are 25th. As far as the bullpen is concerned, the Mets are last, the Yankees are fifth. So for two teams that share New York and all the publicity, the New York Mets and the New York Yankees are totally different.
And yet one thing they have in common is their starting pitching, especially of late, has been very, very good. We're in New York. It is baseball night in America. These two teams will do battle for you in high def coming up on Fox. The action tonight as we get ready for the Yankees and the Mets on a Saturday night. Baseball night in America. That's the second time I've said it. You're going to hear it at least 5 more times in the opening pitch. Will be brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Here comes the Mets starting lineup. It's brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. And right now, Phil Hughes will abdicate the mound and give it up for the first pitch. Neuenhuis leads it off. He's in right. Andres Torres is in center. Then David Wright hits third at third. Lucas Duda is the DH. David Murphy at second. Followed by Ike Davis, really struggling. Jason Bay, Josh Tolle, and Omar Quintanilla is the shortstop batting in the number 9 spot. And there's Neuenhuis, who's off to a good start in his rookie season. We'll have a little time now as Phil Hughes has yet to take a warm-up toss before this one. And Tim, he's coming off a real good one against Detroit. And there are his numbers for the season.
That was last Sunday, holding Detroit to only 1 run. The first complete game, 9-inning, 1-run game that Phil Hughes has worked. High ball pitcher, very few ground balls, and he's much tougher on left-handers. And we'll talk about that through the course of the first inning. And as Joe said, off to his best start since last Sunday. Trying to duplicate that tonight.
Take a look at the defense behind Phil Hughes. No surprises. Ibanez in left, Granderson in center, Nick Swisher in right. Around the infield, maybe a surprise. Chavez gets the start. The DH is A-Rod. Derek Jeter, Cano, Teixeira. Russell Martin does the catching with Hughes in the middle, and we will give you tonight's 4 to go further keys to the game.
The Mets keep bouncing back, and it's so refreshing to see this ball club feed off their manager, Terry Collins. The Yankees, they want to continue that home run barrage where they lit up Johan Santana with 4 home runs last night.
There is Hiroki Kuroda, who got the start for the Yankees, got drilled in the left heel. You think he may be okay. They'll just have to wait and see. His next start will come up on Wednesday, and so we don't know. He went 7 last night, a 9-1 win. Santana was lit up, as Tim mentioned, the 4 home runs, including 3 in a row in the third. 2 on the night by Cano, and well, that's old news. This is now, and this is Neuenhuis, and this is pitch 1. Ball 1, up and away from Phil Hughes. We will hear from Kenny Rosenthal in this first inning about what's changed with Phil Hughes, who had a very poor start basically in his hometown against the Angels and then was so good against Detroit. That's outside, a bit high again. It's 2-0. Neuenhuis takes high, 3-0.
Said he's a high ball pitcher and running into trouble with that high fastball here in the first.
To the 24-year-old rookie Kirk Neuenhuis. He's got 55 hits, tied for the most in baseball among rookies, and Hughes didn't let up to throw a strike. It's 3-1. The 3-1 pitch is swung on and missed. A late swing, and Neuenhuis may have chased. Ball 4. It's a full count.
I think he did. If it wasn't high, it might have been outside.
So it's 3-2 with Torres on deck and then David Wright. Off the hands, foul ball. Chavez is out of room.
We talked about the success that Phil Hughes has against left-handed batters. It's unusual that a right-hander has that type of success. But think about it this way. Most left-handed hitters are low ball hitters, and Phil Hughes throws a high fastball. So it would really figure from that statistic that it'd be tough to handle for a left-hander.
Another on 3-2 and a leadoff walk. Nonetheless, we'll check in with Kenny Rosenthal. And Ken, Phil Hughes was really excited about a change in approach here over the last couple of starts.
That's right, Joe. What he has done is gone back to his old relievers mentality, becoming more aggressive, pounding the strike zone. And in his last start, he made a mid-game adjustment, became more closed in his delivery, kept his body more in line to the plate, hid the ball better. He thought he was flying open, and he checked in the dugout with pitching coach Larry Rothschild and Andy Pettit, and they confirmed his suspicions. Joe, that Pettit guy is pretty helpful.
Yeah, I'd say. He's also blossomed once again into the #2 starter here with the Yankees as the first pitch to Torres misses for ball 1. There's Andy Pettit. You can't say enough for the job that he's done since coming back after sitting out last year. He beat Tampa Bay on Tuesday 7-zip and struck out 10. He'll be 40 on the 15th of June. He's gone 7 or more innings, Tim, in 4 of his 5 starts.
Remarkable. It's one thing laying out if you're in your mid-30s. If you're in your late 30s and you lay out a year, it is very, very difficult to come back. But he's done it.
Here's a 1-0. Up and away, but a called strike, and Torres doesn't like it. That was borderline. 1-1.
Phil Hughes gets the call, and that pitch is out of the strike zone. Break for the Yankees.
So now a 1-1 to Andres Torres, a swing and a miss, and a 93-mile-per-hour fastball. And as Kenny mentioned, he went back to some of the approach he had mentally when he was working out of the bullpen. His best year was in 2009 out of the pen. He was brilliant setting up Rivera. Struck him out. 1 on, 1 out. A walk and a strikeout. Batter will be David Wright.
Andres Torres is using a lighter bat. It's 3 ounces lighter than he used with the San Francisco Giants last year, from 36 to 33, but still a left-hander who couldn't get around on the fastball.
David Wright has flat out carried this Mets team in 2012. Offensively, defensively, he is gold glove caliber over at third base. Breaking ball is the first of the night from Hughes, strike 1. The statistics for David Wright through 55 games, which is where we are, where he is on his season, just about across the board, it's the best start he's ever had. Gets under it and pops it into center. Granderson back to grab it. It is 1 on, 2 out. Give you those numbers the next time up for Wright. The batter will be Lucas Duda. David Wright, who knows the club has a $16 million option for his services next year, has said he's not going to talk contract extension in the season. He'll wait until the offseason, and there's really no urgency. But Tim, if you consider with how this season started for the Mets, with Duda digging in, you heard that word bandied about for the Mets, which is a hard word to say for a New York baseball franchise, and that's rebuild. That one is in at the knees, strike 1. And Terry Collins has squeezed the most out of this club. And for a team that watched Jose Reyes walk away as a free agent, you thought David Wright would be the big chip they could trade if they had to at the deadline. Those thoughts are all gone right now as they're in contention in the East.
That's right.
Here's the 0-1.
Rebuilding was a fashionable word 30 years ago, but the fan bases of most teams do not have the patience to see their team rebuilding. That was an understandable word years ago, but not today.
So much of an investment in these new ballparks here in New York alone.
Yep.
But for the Mets, Citi Field and ticket fan base has been dropping since they opened that ballpark, and now they've got life, a lot of it. A heavy injection from Johan Santana with a runner going. Nieuwenhuis, who led off with a walk, fouled back, and the count 1-2 on Duda. That no-hitter 2 Fridays ago for Johan Santana, who we hope to talk to during the game later on. Real galvanizing moment for this franchise, their fans, and it's more than just 9 innings of no hits. Counts 1-2 on Duda. Breaking ball drops low. It's 2-2.
This might be an exaggeration, but Johan Santana is being paid $137 million by the Mets, and maybe in one night he paid them back.
Well, if you consider all that's gone on with the Bernie Madoff Ponzi scheme,
right.
Irving Picard, the trustee in charge of trying to get money back for those who were ripped off. And that's high. Throw down by Martin. That's the end of the inning. And Russell Martin takes care of Neuenhuis. And Phil Hughes takes care of the Mets in the top of the first. Yankees coming up, bottom half, no score. Two for the New York Yankees, and here's the Yankees starting lineup brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. He'll lead it off. Then Curtis Granderson bats second. Alex Rodriguez the DH. Robinson Cano had a big night last night. Teixeira, Ibanez, Nick Swisher. Eric Chavez is at third base, and Russell Martin does the catching. He bats ninth. Joe Girardi is in his fifth season with the Yankees, and here are the numbers for Dylan G. He had a bushy goatee to start the season. He thought that was more appropriate for a closer. He shaved it. A little more conventional facial hair, and he's been outstanding his last four starts. 2-0 and a 2.63 ERA. Coming off a no decision on Monday against the Cardinals, and the fastball, which will hit 92, is at 90 miles an hour in ball one. Jeter is a career .377 hitter against the Mets. Former World Series MVP against the Mets in 2000. Didn't mean to, tried to hold up. Good pitch, a ball and a strike.
Derek hitless for his last 4 games. That's 17 at bats with 3 strikeouts.
Started the season hitting .397 through the 7th of May, and you see what he's done specifically of late, but since the 8th of May, hitting .229. Broken back. Base hit. So Jeter snaps that string. And he's on to start the night. Tim Sheeta is the home plate umpire. He's the crew chief for this crew here at Yankee Stadium, with Mike Malinsky at first base, Bill Welke at second, and Chris Guccione over at third. Here's Curtis Granderson, who has hit 17 home runs. Solo home runs lead baseball, and his total tied for third in the AL. Strike one. Josh Hamilton started the day with 22. He went deep last night in a Texas win at San Francisco. Giants are returning the favor today. They won that ball game over Texas. They've split the first 2 games. It's outside, and the count 1-1.
That's the one thing Dylan G must do to be successful: use both sides of the plate. More than anything, Terry Collins accentuated that to us in our meeting today. Inside, outside, very important.
Changed up on him, 84-mile-an-hour pitch, in the count 1-2.
Really good changeup. The last 4 games, his best as a Met. That's what G was quoted as saying. He's tougher with men on base than men off base, and he moves the ball from side to side. Very important.
Here's a 1-2. That is fouled left side. It will get out of play. Give you a defensive look for the Mets, he says, saving a bad sentence. Jason Bay is in left. Andres Torres in center, and Kirk Neuenhuis in right. David Wright, Omar Quintanilla. They're down to Quintanilla at short. Daniel Murphy at second. Ike Davis at first. Tolle is back and catching Dylan G. Tolle had that concussion that sidelined him for the better part of 3 weeks. His first game back was last Friday night. He had to basically beg his way back into the lineup, and he slid right in there to catch a no-hitter by Johan Santana. Took the chest protector and the shin guards off, and they won't be worn again. Here's a 1-2, and that'll be a ball.
Yeah, I think he tripped on the rubber. That spike appeared to be caught. The ball of the right foot, it appeared. Oh, that foot slid a little toward the shortstop position. Yep, and he slipped. Evidently, that mound is that rubber on the mound is not deep enough for his spikes.
Yeah, sometimes you see guys that are kicking a trough in front of that rubber. He doesn't really have that.
No, he doesn't.
Granderson now either drive him in or get him over in the count 1-2. Yankees not a team that you'd think of, and now he's kicking at that area. Dylan G. A get him over team and then get him in. They lead the big leagues with 88 home runs, the Yankees. And Granderson's a big reason why they are on top with his 17. Right side caught by Ike Davis. 1 out. So he did pull it, but in the air, and Davis up to grab it. 1 on, 1 out.
Little timing play for Ike Davis. Nicely done. You could see second baseman Daniel Murphy jumping right along with Ike. Should get an assist on that. Body language. Here we go again. Whoa, get up, Ike.
And with a runner at second, 1 out, Alex Rodriguez stands in. He has struggled with runners on, but so have the Yankees in general. That's kind of the surprise. They are where they are, and yet they're not hitting anything with runners in scoring position. Breaking ball misses. A-Rod a part of that. He's hitting just 167 with runners in scoring position, and the Yankees as a team are hitting 219. That's 28th in the league. Their hitting coach Kevin Long is not worried. He thinks that will turn. Even with that low production in these situations. They're right toward the top of the division, and there's A-Rod with a base hit. Here comes Jeter. Yankees lead it 1-0 on an RBI base hit by Rodriguez. RBI number 24 on the year. And the Yankees have been looking for hits like that for a while.
You know, the one thing they're looking for out of A-Rod is lift also. Kevin Long has been working on him. And Joe, in my experience, I don't think I have ever heard during a season for a batting coach, hitting instructor, to work on lift from a guy with over 600 home runs. I know it's a concern, but they'll take that single up the middle too.
There's another stat for you as Derek Jeter has passed Ted Williams for 17th place on baseball's all-time runs scored list. He's got the first of tonight, which is all he's worried about. And with Rodriguez at first and 1 out, the batter is Cano. The big night he had, and he is coming on. Fooled there with a changeup by G. So career run number 1800 for Jeter.
You pass Ted Williams in any category, it's great.
Cano last night homered in the second and then started a 3 in a row. Homer barrage off Johan Santana in the third. And a 9-1 win, and that's a base hit left side. Rodriguez will stop at second. 2 on, 1 out. And the Yankees trying to pick up where they left off in their 9-1 win on Friday.
I was just going to say that the one thing about Robinson Cano, he is very, very difficult to defend. Last night with 2 home runs, and tonight on an 0-1 count, he rifles one by the shortstop, Omar Quintanilla. Playing for the double play, line drive the other way. No way to play him and no real way to pitch him successfully.
8 home runs over his last 19 games coming in for Robinson Cano. And now Terry Collins wondering how big this first inning will be for the Yankees. A lot rides on Teixeira, who gets hit. That'll load him up. And a breaking ball that caught Teixeira on the lower part of his right leg, I believe, but we'll take a look and be sure.
Steve Donahue, the trainer, out to see how Tex is. I think he hit him on the right foot. He's got a pad there, but just on the pad. Good old half shin guard. Still hurts.
And now Dan Warden, the pitching coach for the Mets, will come out. The batter will be Ibanez. Bases loaded, and this is where the Yankees have struggled this year. They've hit 4 grand slams, which is the most in baseball, but their average is woeful at 159. With the bases loaded, that's 28th best in the major leagues.
That's the oddest statistics for this ball club because they were so successful in 2010 and 2011.
They have 2 grand slams over the last 8 days. Granderson went deep in Detroit. And Russell Martin backed up Andy Pettitte with a grand slam off James Shields against Tampa Bay. And a 7-0 win on Tuesday. Now it's Ibanez. Ball one outside.
When a pitcher is trying to get a ground ball, and certainly G is trying to do that, he'll work away. As Curtis Granderson with the grand slam against Felix DeBrant, and then Russell Martin on Tuesday with 4 RBIs.
And away again. The count's 2-0.
Yeah, you don't seek a ground ball by throwing hitters inside. It's always going to be away.
9 slams in the long career of Raul Ibanez. And he's in a great spot here. 2-0 with the bases loaded first inning. Changeup. 2-1, and again looked like G lost his footing after the pitch.
Yeah, that thing, he's really having a tough time with that mound. After that pitch, he started digging again.
Ibanez has hit 9 Yankee home runs, driven in 30. Bases loaded, 1 out, and that one is by the bat of Ibanez. Back-to-back changeups, I believe. It's 2-2.
2-0 changeup, and now a 2-1, the 85-mile-an-hour change. Circle change. Aptly shown.
And with the bases loaded, it was 2-0, now 2-2. Yankees lead 1-0 here in the first. Left side might be. Right to second. Out. Murphy. Can he turn it? Yes. And a 5-4-3 double play bails Dylan G and the Mets out of trouble. Ibanez hits into the twin killing. Just 1 run after all that. Yankees on top 1-0. Beautiful shot of this ballpark that's in its 4th season, opened in 2009, and they are jammed in here. Game break coming up. It's the Yankees and Mets right here for you. 1-0 Yankees on an RBI by Alex Rodriguez, and a breaking ball is low to Duda. Lucas was at the plate when Neuenhuis was out stealing to end the top of the 1st. So he gets a fresh at bat, and he has a 1-1 count.
I'm still bummed that Gray is over.
You know, it just depends on how you want to try and carry it off. And I think you're doing a nice job. Thanks to the 1-1. Way out in front. Strike 2. Duda is obviously, as you can see, a big, powerful hitter and a guy that can hit it as far as anybody. Had only 129 games in the majors prior to this year, and he gets under this one. Jeter hardly has to move. 1 out. Let's go to Matt Vasgersian for a DirecTV game break.
Hey, Joe and Tim, as you know, the AL East couldn't be any tighter. The Orioles back to being within a half game of the lead thanks to Adam Jones' bottom of the 12th inning walk-off winner. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Back to you guys in the Bronx.
All right, Matt, thanks. So the AL East watches Baltimore get a win. Adam Jones had been struggling of late. Got that big deal. I don't know how it's humanly possible to not grind a little bit after you get a lot of money dumped in your lap.
A lot of talk about Albert Pujols, and I think it was definitely a mental problem the month of April for him to get off to a sluggish start. Adam Jones the same way.
Tomey's back from a bad back. He is 5 for 9 in the series. They get to use a DH. That's really what he is at this point of his career. Career home run number 605 in that game, but a loss for Philadelphia. They're now 3 games under 500, and they are 7 out in the NL East. Here's an 0-2. Murphy fouls it away.
You can see by the way Hughes is working, left-handed hitters just do not like to hit against Phil Hughes.
Daniel Murphy's hitting .286. Batting with 1 out. He takes ball 1. Daniel's done a lot of hard work at the second base position with Tim Tuffle, who is the infield coach for Terry Collins. And while we've seen a lot of Murphy at first and third and in the outfield, he's predominantly been the second baseman. He did a nice job turning it.
Yeah, that's not a routine play because he had to play Raul Ibanez to pull at second base. So he had a long way to get to second. Makes the turn, strong throw to double up Ibanez.
Just did get him to save 1 run on that play. Who knows how much more. Here's a 1-2. 2-2. Ken Rosenthal is with us. Kenny's been working hard at second base, hasn't he?
Yes, Joe, and he's shown a lot of courage, too. Each of his last 2 seasons ended on collisions at second base, MCL injuries, 1 to each knee. His younger brother, Jonathan, told him before he left for spring training this year, hey, make sure you jump this year. And Jonathan is an outfielder at Jacksonville University. He got good news this week himself. The Twins drafted him in the 19th round.
So the Murphy brothers will be in the big leagues together, they hope, at some point. Daniel waits for a 2-2 pitch. 1 out, nobody on. Foul back.
Daniel saying that Jonathan, his younger brother, is in every way a better baseball player than he. I think he's being overly modest. He was drafted by the Mets in 2006, and this guy can hit.
But the power hasn't been there, and it's something that the Mets have been working on with him. As he slaps one into left right at Ibanez. 2 out.
See that there again, you know, you try as we talked about Kevin Long working with Alex Rodriguez trying to get his lift back. That's what the Mets are working with Daniel Murphy on. It's very difficult to do that in the middle of the season. You can do it in the off season or before the season begins. This fastball is lined to left field. He makes a lot of hard outs.
Batter now is Ike Davis, who's just made a lot of outs.
Oh, boy.
It's been a struggle for somebody who started out so well as a rookie. 19 home runs, 71 RBIs in 2010, hit .264. Last year was off to a good start. went down in May with a severely sprained ankle in a collision with David Wright. Missed the rest of the year. Missed all but 36 games. The collision happened in Colorado. Then he gets a fungal disease. They call it valley fever during the spring, and he's still trying to fight his way back. There's Sandy Alderson, the Mets general manager. And he's got a base hit, he being Ike Davis, not Sandy Alderson, into center with 2 out here in the second.
Talking about Daniel Murphy, it's very difficult to change guys during the season because they've got their own routine of hitting for average. That's why you have to wait until the offseason to try to change a guy so dramatically.
Now Jason Bay, and you have to wonder if Jason Bay became a psychological victim of the old Citi Field. They brought the fences in, lowered them at Citi Field, so it's easier to hit a home run there now. David Wright has just taken off this year, it seems, with that change, and working his way back from a fractured rib. Jason Bay is now 0 for 4 in his return. He flies out to center. Mets get a hit, leave a man into the bottom of the second in the Bronx. Beautiful night, 1-0 Yankees. New York, and it's baseball night in America. The weather couldn't be any better here on the 9th of June. 1-0 Yankees on top, and they come to the plate here in the bottom of the second with Swisher, Chavez, and Martin. The final 3 in the lineup against the right-hander Dylan G, who almost walked the plank in the first inning, but found his way back onto the ship with a double play ball off the bat of Raul Ibanez, and here comes Swisher. He's got 90 home runs in his 4 years with the Yankees. Yankees on top, 1-0. Good tight breaking ball, strike 1. Mets start the day 32-27, 3 out now because Washington beat Boston. Whoa, that one got away. And the Yankees 32-25, a half game behind Tampa Bay.
That winning pitcher, the starter for the Nats, and the tough pitching staff, Gio Gonzalez, 8-2 now.
Clunker to second, Murphy to his right. 1 out. Chavez coming up, and tonight's game is presented by Bud Light Lime. Summer is calling. And And with one out, nobody on, here's Chavez, and there's that series going on at Fenway. Gio Gonzalez got his 8th of the year. Good ERA. Last night, Strasburg struck out 13 in his Fenway Park debut, and it's one off his career high, which I was reminded just reading about today, which was 14, set almost, well, 2 years ago exactly to the day in his major league debut against the Pirates, when he struck out 14. Here's a 1-1. Strike 2.
Bryce Harper became the second youngest player to ever homer at Fenway Park. Bryce Harper 19, and Robin Yount, I beg your pardon, was the only one younger than Bryce. We were talking about him before the game. What an impact these two young men have had on that franchise.
Say it. Go ahead. I want you to say it.
I'll say it,
back it
that
up.
one way or the other, Bryce Harper has got to be on the All-Star team.
Chavez reaching for it into the gap in left center. Bay to grab it. 2 out.
Somehow, whether it's a commissioner's pick, a manager's pick, he's got to be on the All-Star team.
I think that game, and you know, you get into the argument because now it quote unquote counts, and it does. It determines home field advantage in the World Series, but it still is a showcase for Major League Baseball, which will be on Tuesday, July 10th in Kansas City here on Fox. And I was trying to make that point a couple of years ago with Strasburg when he came up. People said, well, he hasn't been around long enough. He's not worthy of a pick. But at some point, you celebrate an athlete coming into the game. And I haven't seen a more exciting athlete, not baseball player yet, but athlete come into the game than Bryce Harper. The 19-year-old for the Nationals. And we've got 3 of them. I mean, you've got Giancarlo Stanton with the Marlins. He's the old man of the group at 22 years old. And then you got Mike Trout, a Jersey kid playing for the Angels, whose stats are even better than Bryce Harper. And it just seems like ever since Mike Trout showed up, the Angels have turned things around. Here's a 1-2. Martin fouls it, still 1-2. There's Mike Trout. Angels won again today, 25th overall pick. And then the question is, well, how does a guy with that kind of talent, look at those numbers, 349, 524. How does a guy with that much talent last until the 25th round? You have to take a bit of a leap when you have a Jersey kid that doesn't have as much exposure in games. What a pickup by Wright because of the weather here in the Northeast. But the Angels got a winner in Trout. We play 2 here at Yankee Stadium. 1-0 Yankees. Back after this from your local Fox station. Budweiser. Glad you're with us on a Saturday night. 1-0 the Yankees out in front for Phil Hughes, who is now pumping strikes after walking the leadoff man Neuenhuis. Tolley first up, hitting .275. The Mets catcher waiting for another. Skips in, a ball and a strike. Talked about Tolley catching the no-hitter last Friday night against St. Louis, the team he grew up rooting for in Breeze, Illinois. He said about the 6th inning, Johan and he didn't really say anything to each other. They went to opposite corners of the dugout and didn't even talk about what was happening against the Cardinals. Let's go to Matt Vasgersian for a DirecTV game break.
Joe, Sunshine State battle. Marlins trying to snap a 4-game slide. Carlos Zambrano's struggles in his new home park continue. A 5-run top of the second have the Rays on top early. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Back to Joe and Tim.
All right, thanks, Matt. So Tolley flies out to left. The batter is Quintanilla, who's the number 9 man. And with that, Tampa Bay trying to win their 34th. They lead the AL East. We told you that Baltimore already won. They're 33-26. Boston would be 5 out in last place, but just 5 out if Tampa Bay ends up hanging on, and the Yankees would have to win to stay a half game out. The count 1 ball 1 strike on Quintanilla, and shortstop has been a tough position for the Mets. Ruben Tejada started the year at shortstop. Ronnie Cedeno is back up is out. And they have gotten down to names like Quintanilla and Valdespin.
Valdespin starting one game. That was in Washington earlier in the week. Had 2 errors in that game, but it's been a very, very difficult plugging of the most important defensive position in many people's minds. Some think it's catcher, some think it's shortstop. They're very, very important.
2 balls 2 strikes on Quintanilla. 5'9", 190, 30-year-old middle infielder. The 2-2. High fly ball into right, might tie it. At the wall, Quintanilla goes deep. And it's 1-1 here in the 3rd inning as Omar gets his first. And it was not cheap. Pounded into the seats in right. His 3rd major league home run, and an extra piece added by Alderson. Gets high fives on his return to the dugout as he's tied this game in the 3rd.
We said earlier that the success of Phil Hughes is up in the strike zone, but this fly ball leaves the yard to tie it.
And they love it on the Mets bench. A team that comes in 1-4 in their last 5 games after they had won 9 of 12. Had a great series at home against St. Louis, winning 3 of 4. Neuenhuis walked his first time and now takes a ball. It's 1-1. You cannot underestimate the influence that Terry Collins has had on this Mets team in his 2nd season. His contract has been picked up. He is signed through the end of next year. Won 77 games, and he has really transformed himself from the style of manager he was earlier in his life. Here is Teixeira to his left to the bag. 2 out.
Said that transformation came when he became a farm director and had an overview of the Mets organization.
Talked to him before the game. I said, are you different than you were when you were with the Astros in the mid-90s, the Angels after that? And he said, oh, it's night and day.
Yeah.
He said, I was a minor league player. I was a minor league manager as Andres Torres swings through 1 strike 1. And all I knew was the minor leagues. And when I got to the big leagues, I thought I was responsible for everything. Now I get them ready. If they play great, they play great. If not, I've done what I can, and I'm a lot more relaxed. It reminds me a lot of Tom Coughlin, the Super Bowl winning, 2-time Super Bowl winning head coach of the Giants. Later in his life, he transformed into a guy that would listen to the veterans, to a guy that isn't so hard-edged and so much of a grinder. He smiles a lot more than you would think. And he's had great success with the Giants.
And Tom is the oldest NFL coach, right?
And a guy who had a part of the Belmont today in the horse racing world. How about a home run by Quintanilla? How about a 1-1 game going into the bottom of the third? For their lineup, 1-1 game now, thanks to a home run by Omar Quintanilla. First pitch down and away to Jeter. Derek flopped a base hit into center, his first time up, scored on a hit by Rodriguez. Yankees loaded the bases with 1 out. But as they've done this season, came up and didn't do anything with it. 5-4-3 double play hit into by Ibanez, so it was 1-0 until the Quintanilla home run. Counts 2-0 on Jeter. (3-0).
How many times have Yankee fans seen Derek Jeter plop that ball in that little Bermuda triangle in right center field among the center fielder, right fielder, and second baseman? That area right in there. A lot.
1,219 times. There's a strike. 3-1. Trying to get on to start the third inning. He takes a walk. First walk handed out by Dylan G here tonight against a guy who has been just a killer of the Mets. He's got a .377 career average against the Mets. Against the Mets at home, he's hitting .425, 10 homers, 23 RBIs. And as I mentioned, he was the MVP of the World Series. Same year he was the MVP of the All-Star game back when the Yankees beat the Mets in 5 games in 2000. That series wrapping up at Shea. Been on base twice already tonight. Batter's Granderson, who lined out to first his first time up.
Even when Derek Jeter retires, his mantra you get the feeling will continue to be, I'm playing tomorrow.
He is as reliable as anybody in this game and has mastered the art of being quoted and saying virtually nothing.
That's good.
Absolutely beloved. The media pretty much leaves him alone. Big swing by Granderson, strike two.
He's made an art out of stoicism.
He's
right?
like Aikman. Aikman got into broadcasting. Everybody went, he's not going to say anything. He was the lone voice of reason on the Cowboys in the mid-'90s. The team was running amok. Jeter is not known for his quotes. He's more known for what he does with a glove on his hand or a bat in his hands. What about you, Kenny? You represent the print media, too. I mean, he doesn't say anything.
No, he doesn't say a lot. But, Joe, he is always accountable, always at his locker, win or lose. And that goes a long way because it sets an example for the other players on that team.
2 balls, 2 strikes. A little fly ball into left, and that's easy for Jason Bay. 1 on, 1 out. Visit www.mlb.com/fanguide to register for a chance to win a VIP experience for 2 to a 2012 World Series game presented by Scotts, the official lawn care company of MLB. Rodriguez a single up the middle. His first time for an RBI, so 1 for 1, hitting .281, 9 home runs, 638 in his career, 5th all time. Fastball, strike 1. I don't even know, furthering the conversation with regard to Jeter and the quotes, if you're even allowed to really speak your mind anymore as a player, and if it's more self-preservation, because especially here they're looking for any misstep verbally to start something in the papers or something over the airwaves, whatever it may be. And Jeter, for, well, the better part of 17 years, has stayed above that fray.
You'll not get it from the man from Kalamazoo.
1 on, 1 out. The 0-1 is popped up right side. In comes Neuenhuis. 2 out. Let's go for another game break. Here's Matt Vasgersian at the MLB Network studios.
Guys, Rays and Marlins, and the Rays got to Carlos Beltran for 5 runs on 4 singles in the second. 2 more in the third on Ben Zobrist's home run. Zambrano gone after 2 1/3. 7-0 Rays early.
There's the AL East with Tampa Bay on top. And if you wonder about the NL East, Miami in danger of losing their 5th in a row. 31-27 at the moment, 3 out. 3.5 to be exact, with a win by Washington. Here is Cano. There's ball 1 outside. You like that park down in Miami?
Love it. Absolutely love it. Had a private tour, about 20 minutes, some private tour before the game about a month ago from Jeffrey Loria, and he is so proud. He's the owner of the Marlins and so proud of that park, with good reason.
1 on, 2 out, and a fly ball left side, slicing toward the seats, and it is caught by Bay for the out. Right down the line and right up against that wall, separating number 44 from the fans. A nice catch.
Visions of Moises Alou a few years ago.
Yeah. That guy's name is
Steve Bartman.
Yeah, that guy's isn't. 1-1 after 3. Fourth inning rolls in. Swisher climbing the wall to no avail. A home run by Quintanilla tied this game in the top of the third. And now the Mets bat here in the fourth. David Wright first up. He got under one, flied it to center his first time up. Gets under this one and fouls it in the count 0-2.
One of the big reasons David Wright is having a good year this year, he's using right field. And when you use the opposite field, that means you're keeping your shoulder in there. Last year, look at the pull direction, twice as much as this year.
And he's got plenty of power to hit it out the other way.
Oh, yeah.
The 0-2. Struck him out. Strikeout number 3 on the night for Phil Hughes. Leadoff man is gone here in the fourth inning. Lucas Duda coming in. Tonight's game is sponsored by Chevrolet, proud to support youth baseball in cities and towns across the country. By DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. By the makers of Bayer Advanced Aspirin, the official pain reliever of MLB. Look at that night. Had a little rain earlier today, but skies have cleared. Here is Duda, who takes a strike in at the knees. Popped up his first time, and he's popped 10 home runs. The 0-1. Little bit low. Phil Hughes was a first-round pick in 04, 23rd overall, came up in 07. 2008 had a fractured rib, only made 8 starts, was 0-4. In the 2009 season, when he was in the bullpen, he was tremendous. A changeup, Granderson can't recover. He broke back, could not come in and make the catch, and into center with a base hit is Lucas Duda.
Lucas Duda is 6'4", weighs 254, and only a guy like that would get a hit like this because Curtis Granderson playing deep, he broke back, then by the time he broke in, a little blooper hit for Duda.
Brings in Daniel Murphy. Daniel lined out into left, his first time up. One on, one out. And you watch Terry Collins do a little instruction with Murphy after a batting practice session here yesterday.
Yeah, he was talking about how Daniel is kind of tilting his bat toward third base. And when you do that, you have to correct and get it in the proper position. It's in the proper position there. When you tilt that bat toward the dugout or toward third base, you have to put it upright when the pitch is on the way. And the less movement, the better, particularly for a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Ike Davis, the guy on deck, is going through a lot of the same thing.
Yes.
And it sapped him of his power. As Hughes is following up that blue pit into center by falling behind Murphy 3-0.
See, if it's tilted toward you at home, it's bad, and it's not tilted.
Swinging on 3-0, and he pops it up into shallow left. Jeter out. 1 on, 2 out. And so Hughes gets an out after falling behind 3-0 on a pop-up off the bat of Daniel Murphy. This is a Mets team that under Dave Hudgens, their hitting coach, has become much more selective at the plate. And yet swinging at a 3-0 pitch was Murphy, popped it up, and here's Ike Davis, who had a base hit his first time.
Well, as an example, I mean, you talked about Robinson Cano with 2 first pitch home runs his first 2 times up last night. The Mets don't have that kind of power, with the exception of Lucas Duda and occasionally David Wright, maybe against a left-handed pitcher. Ike Davis on rarer occasions this year.
Strike 1 there.
They work the count more. The Yankees are a whale and bail team.
And you see how their pitches per plate appearance have gone up, and they're now second in baseball. They are a grinding team that's also been very good with 2 out this season. Basically 50% of their runs have been scored with 2 out.
That's extraordinary.
As Davis falls in the hole 0-2.
Because when you're doing that, you have to deliver with a hit. For instance, if you're on third in the early innings and the infield's playing back, they give you the run. So if you ground out to short, you have an RBI. The same in the third or fourth. Sacrifice fly, something of that nature. But with 2 outs, you have to deliver.
Blocked by Martin, who's had a good year behind the plate, if not at it, in the count 1-2. Crowd gets behind Phil Hughes trying to get around that blue hit by Duda. He's at first, 2 out, and a 1-2 pitch. Fouled back, a dangerous pitch. And we give you our Just for Men auto stop foolproof stat. There are the numbers. 126 runs scored, leading baseball for the Mets with 2 out. And basically 50% of their runs have scored with 2 down in the inning. Just as the Mets can count on clutch hitting, you can count on Just for Men auto stop for foolproof results. That's down and away, 2-2. We'll visit with Joe Girardi later on in the ball game. We may talk to Johan Santana as we play here at Yankee Stadium. We are in the 4th. In fact, he's on, but we're not talking to him yet. Here comes a 2-2 pitch. Full count, throw down, and back to the bag is Duda. Started to stray a little too far, and Russell Martin tried to end the inning right there with his arm.
One of the problems with Ike Davis is with 2 strikes, he gets a little anxious, and that's a sign of a hitter that's struggling. He won't swing at the high fastball, but he will at the ball in the dirt.
Runner will go. 3-2 pitch. That's ball 4, and it's 2 on, 2 out. Second walk handed out by Hughes. He hadn't walked anybody since the leadoff man Neuenhuis back in the 1st, and now it's Jason Bay, and the Mets are looking for something productive out of this big bat. And for anybody who paid attention to Bay's career before he came to the Mets, this was a guy that for 5 years averaged 30 or more home runs between the Pirates and the Red Sox. And it just hasn't happened in a Mets uniform. Can he get a hit here? Instead, he pops it up foul. That'll get out of play. Strike 1. He's played now in 234 games with the Mets and has 21 home runs total. That's it. Really one of 3 guys the Mets are paying big money to. The next guy we'll talk to is Johan Santana, and he's been brilliant.
He's already paid his back. We've already said that.
We've already determined that, even before he was listening to us.
Yeah.
The other's David Wright, and then there's Bay. And he pops it into right. That won't do the job. Swisher is there. You think Johan Santana's nervous? He looks it.
No chance.
He looks it.
Come on.
Mets lead 2. Bottom of the 4th inning rolls in. Yankees coming up, tied at 1. postseason, went 8,093 games without throwing a no-hitter. All those great pitchers over the years. And it was 2 Fridays ago that Johan Santana no-hit the Cardinals, and that means now the only team in baseball without a no-hitter, the San Diego Padres. But that's for another day. For right now, as Mark Teixeira leads it off, takes a strike from Dylan G. Joined in the dugout, the Mets dugout, by Johan Santana. Johan, thanks for being on with us, first of all.
My pleasure, guys. How you guys doing?
We're doing well. Tell us about last night. You went 5, you got knocked around a little bit, and as Teixeira takes up and away 2-1, your manager, Terry Collins, who's obviously a huge fan of yours, took a lot of responsibility because he pushed you back a couple of days after 134 pitches 2 Fridays ago. What are your thoughts on last night?
Well, you know, coming into tonight's game, we talked about trying to you know, take everything easy and not going too crazy. I knew I threw too many pitches last time, the one before last night. But, you know, we're in this thing together. We're trying to put everything together, and then whatever they wanted to do, you know, I agreed to it. You know, I wanted to help as much as I can, but at the same time, we're on the same page. You know, we're coming back from surgery, and it's not something that is easy.
How many calls have you received from Tovar Merida?
Wow. All kinds of phone calls and text messages and emails, and my Twitter account is up, and everything has been great.
I wonder, for a guy like you that was with the Twins, and now, you know, here you are with the Mets, if you realize the scope and how big of a deal that is for the Mets fans who saw all that great pitching, and I mean great pitching, you know, to never have a no-hitter and then you're the guy that does it.
It is an honor, you know. I never had anything like it, you know, and for me it was an honor. It was a great night. You know, we all did a great job, and we enjoyed that. Right when we got that last out, to see everybody coming together and to see all the fans, it was amazing.
Runner at first after a leadoff walk to Teixeira, talking to Johan Santana on the left side of your screen. That's a strike to the batter Ibanez, who bounced into a double play his first time up.
Johan, earlier I said, you know, the Mets paid you a big contract, $137 million, and it might be an exaggeration, but you paid them back in one night.
Are you buying that?
I don't know, man. I still have a long way to go. You know, we came here trying to help this team, you know, to win a championship, and that's what we want to accomplish, you know, and things are working better for us and trying to put everything together, and hopefully that's the case. But definitely feel very happy, you know, that I was able to accomplish something that it took a lot of time.
Here's another double play ball off the bat of Ibanez. He leads the shortstop for a 1-6-3 double play with Quintanilla in the middle. 2 out, nobody on. As we take another look at this replay, nicely turned by G. The throw led Quintanilla across the bag. 2 out, bases empty for Swisher. Johan, it seems like your group, your young team, really likes playing for manager Terry Collins.
I think he's open, you know, and he created a good atmosphere, and then we all on the same page, and we having fun, and I think is the most important thing. You know, when you have fun, then you go out there, you do things, and then the little things and the details you cover, and then you put yourself in a good position to win games, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I see you holding a baseball down there. Do you always you get a little change-up grip going when you're not pitching?
It's right here, you know.
Power change.
Oh yeah, baby. It's always there. You know, we always carry a baseball. This one was the one that Ike threw back and then ended up in my hands.
And the beauty of your changeup is that a hitter can't tell, because of your arm action, what's coming. So if the velocity's down, it's really more the difference between the fastball and the changeup that makes you keep hitters off balance.
Yeah, there's no question. You know, to me, pitching is about keeping hitters off balance. You know, if you locate and you change speeds and you throw in the right location, you put yourself in a good position. But definitely the arm speed is different.
Dylan G's done a good job tonight for you, and we thank you, Johan, for being on with us tonight.
Thank you, Johan.
Guys, no problem.
One of the best in the biz, Johan Santana, 1-1 after 4 in the Bronx. into the stands, even into a family, maybe brothers, sister and brother, two sisters. Who are you rooting for? Well, it's 1-1 into the fifth. Phil Hughes back to the mound. We had a visit with Johan Santana, and we thank Jay Horowitz and the Mets for allowing that to happen. And we will hear momentarily from the Yankees and Joe Girardi. Jay Horowitz, by the way, if you don't know and you should, is the PR director for the Mets. Jason Zillo is the guy that pulls the strings for the Yankees, and both are fantastic at what they do. We lean on them a lot, and we thank them for all their help. 1 ball, 2 strikes. On Tolley, who flied out to left his first time up and now strikes out looking. Strikeout number 4, and here's Girardi, manager of the Yankees. First question was about the work so far, and looking good is Phil Hughes.
Yeah, he has. I don't think his location's been quite as good. He's gotten in some longer counts, with his fastball, but he's done a really good job. And, you look at his last 5 or 6 starts, he's been really good for us.
Boy, Dylan G., their starter, really walked a tightrope in the first inning and got a big double play ball off the bat of Ibanez.
He gets a lot of ground balls, and he got one hit right at David Wright, and it was an important part of this game, and hopefully we'll get some more chances off him. But it looks like he has a great changeup, and he's locating well as well.
Finally, with all that you've had to deal with already this season, do you ever look at the standings and say, my gosh, we're only a half game out of first place?
Yeah, you try not to. It seems like you don't have enough time to do that. It seems like we're always standing at this rail right here. You don't have time to look at a lot of things. But, we've endured some things, and hopefully we're going to get Robertson back here pretty soon, and things will get better for us.
I know I said last question real quick. You want to get Brett Gardner back.
Yeah.
You need him around here.
We miss him. He's the one guy that can really create some stuff for us. And Nooney was the other. Nooney's hurt down in AAA. So, we're going to miss Gardy. He had a setback. He's going to see the doctor on Monday, and hopefully it's just a minor one.
Joe, thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Joe.
So there's your update on Brett Gardner. Meanwhile, Phil Hughes, Tim, has really settled into this game. And in this 5th inning, he's thrown the ball better than he has all night. He struck out the first 2 looking to begin the inning, and now deals with Neuenheim.
He's retired 14 Mets tonight and 1 on a ground ball. And we take you back to the scouting report that we had earlier. High ball pitcher and good luck against left-handed hitters. And even though Quintanilla homered for the only run, most of the outs have been in the air.
And we got into some of the stats, but that 2009 season, he was 8-3 overall, Phil Hughes, but 5-1 out of the bullpen with an ERA of 1.40. Then he won 18 games as a starter in 2010. Last year had some inflammation in that pitching shoulder. Made 17 appearances, 14 starts, was 5-5. So the jury was out on Phil Hughes going into spring training. He had a good spring. He started out slowly this year, but he's been coming on, and despite the hiccup against the Angels, he has carried on good starting pitching for the Yankees the last couple of weeks. Count still 1-2 on Neuenheis, who has hit 3 home runs. He's 0 for 1 tonight. In fact, the Yankees starting pitching over the last 7 games, the starters have combined for a 1.72 ERA. And they've averaged 7 1/3 innings per start. It's good action by that group. And a swing to just waste the pitch. Still 1-2.
One of the reasons for that, Joe, the starters doing so well for the Yankees, Joe Girardi with a meeting with catcher Russell Martin. It lasted only 3 minutes, but Joe, a former catcher, talking to him about calling more pitches inside the right-handed batters. Russell very, very good, very receptive, and it's worked.
You can see the different caps the Yankees are wearing on the shot we had of Joe Girardi, or even Phil Hughes there, and the Yankees are wearing him for the Special Ops Warrior Foundation, raising money. A nice exhibition with skydivers coming into the stadium prior to the game, and just sticking the bat out and getting one fair down the left field line for a double is Neuenheis, with 2 out here in the 5th. And the go-ahead run is in scoring position as Neuenheis gets his 56th hit of the year.
Right inside the bag for double number 9 for Neuenheis. Good hitting on a fastball that was up and away for a guy, Terry Collins, saying he plays baseball with the football mentality. He has another guy like that on the DL now. That was Mike Baxter, who made that great catch in left field in the Santana no-hitter.
It's over but low, and there's Baxter from Whitestone, Queens.
Right in the shadow of Shea.
His quote about that no-hitter night, he said, "What a night for the players and Mets fans. I just happened to be both." He grew up a Mets fan, and now he gets to play for his team. Saved the no-hitter with a catch and a ball hit by Molina. 1-1 on Andres Torres, who came in hitting just .216, 1 homer, 17 RBIs. He struck out in each of his first 2 at-bats. The Mets need something out of him here in the 5th. Runner at second, 2 out. Got the inside corner, strike 2.
One of the few times Russell Martin has called a fastball inside. Remember that meeting with Girardi? Throw more guys inside.
Martin tried to pull it back in. It's 2-2. Torres came along with Ramon Ramirez from the Giants. Angel Pagan went from the Mets out to San Francisco. Bounced around in his big league career. Acquired in December. Mets looking for a hit out of him here in the Bronx. 2-2 pitch. Fouled back.
He was on that one.
94 from Hughes. Still 2-2.
Hitters talk about centering a ball. You can foul it back and center it. He just missed that pitch.
Torres looking for a 2-out hit, strikes out, and the inning is over. Phil Hughes struck out the side, and the 5th has 6 on the night. Good game here in the Bronx. Halfway through it on a Saturday night, tied at 1. And a nice look at this great city as we are in the Bronx. Not too far away from Times Square. It's not hard to get out here as Chavez leads it off. With Russell Martin batting second in the inning, 8, 9, and 1 hitters. Jeter due up third, and a strike from Dylan G. Tied at 1, bottom of the 5th. Chavez lined out to left his first time up. Going that way again. It's foul, and the count 0-2.
Eric Chavez still only 34 years old. His 14th year in the major leagues, second with the Yankees.
Off the end of the bat, still 0-2. A guy who has battled injuries and has battled a bad back. And for anybody who's experienced that out there listening and watching tonight, you can imagine how difficult that would be, swinging a bat for a living. He's fooled on that pitch by Dylan G. 1 out, second strikeout. Tonight's game, presented by Budweiser, is sponsored by the 2012 Ford F-150. Built Ford tough. Batter is Russell Martin, 0 for 1. Grounded out to third his first time up. Outside from G. Ken Rosenthal is with us, and Kenny Rosenthal, Dylan G has settled into this game, and he's really settled into this rotation as David Wright, to his right, takes care of out number 2.
Joe, this isn't Steven Strasburg here. This is a 21st round draft pick out of the University of Texas at Arlington. And G told me he wasn't bitter about being drafted so low. He took it exactly the right way. He thought, hey, I can pitch in the majors. I can get people out. I'm not going to be one of these guys who spends a couple of years in the minors and shuts it down. He said, I just wanted my foot in the door. I got an opportunity that a lot of people don't get, an opportunity to prove myself.
Well, he kicked it in last year as a rookie when he got his chance. He started 7-0. Suffered a loss, shaved his head. Had a 5.91 ERA in the 10 starts between August and September. The team thought he tired down the stretch. But he's in the midst of a good run here now over his last 5 starts as Jeter checks his swing, ball 1.
He just turned 26 years old, and you don't see young pitchers who have an affinity for pitching like Dylan G. Following the Mets loss this season, he's won 4 out of 5.
The 1-0. Good breaking ball for strike 1. Jeter is singled, scored, and walked.
Most guys come to the big leagues because they have a good arm. But Dylan G came to the big leagues because he knew how to pitch. Breaking balls in fastball counts, that's one of them. Fastballs in breaking ball counts.
Good tailing action on that pitch for strike 2. Jeter couldn't pull the trigger, and now he's set up as G tries to get him for the first time tonight. And he does. Strikeout number 3. Who's coming up for the Mets? That guy, David Wright. Number 5 for the Metropolitans. He will lead it off. 6th inning now. Still tied at 1. Foster's Australian for beer, and by Jeep. Glad you're with us on Saturday night as we go to the 6th inning. Good game, tied at 1. Back to the hill is Phil Hughes. And the big bat for the Mets, David Wright, fouls one off the helmet of the catcher Martin. Strike 1. Wright has flied to center and struck out. Phil Hughes has struck out 6, walked 2, allowed a run on 4 hits. Yankees have only 3 hits against Dylan G. Good pitch just off the inside corner. Martin liked it. Tim Sheeta, the home plate umpire, didn't. It's 1-1. Down and away. Here are the numbers. The best of the career. It's been a very good career for David Wright through 55 games. Third best average in the league at .357. The hits, the runs, on base percentage, all career highs. And here's one. Left center field. Mets on top. 2-1. Home run number 8. And the Mets grab a 6th inning lead.
That was a great segue, Joe, because you said the minute you said career highs, David Wright got a high fastball, I beg your pardon, a high changeup, middle of the plate, waited on it, put the Mets ahead. And the bench liked it too.
They're all fired up down there. The Mets looking for their 33rd win of the season. So the guy that's carried this offense, David Wright, he's been the most consistent. Makes it 2-1 Mets, and the count 1-1 on Lucas Duda. Down and in.
Home run number 15 allowed this year by Phil Hughes. All 12 of his starts, he's given up at least 1 home run.
Duda went up to get it and popped it up. Left side, it's Jeter for out number 1. David Wright is coming off a year that was as frustrating as any in his career. He hit a career low .254, 14 home runs. That was tied for his second lowest total. His low total was .09 the first year of Citi Field when he hit 10. But he did hit .307 that year, so he hit .254 last year, and at the start of tonight, .357. Strike 1 on Daniel Murphy. Murphy tonight is 0 for 2. He's flying to left, popped up. Pops up again. That's Jeter. That's Chavez, and it's Eric making the play. 2 out. So up to 100 pitches on the night for Phil Hughes and his next opponent, Ike Davis. David Wright, by the way, is still only 29 years old. 5-time All-Star. And a guy who is, in essence, locked up through next year with a club option. But there will be a windfall coming his way cash-wise at some point here. You have to believe something will get done with the Mets if that's the way they're going to go prior to next season. Or they will have to make an organizational decision and use that chip to try and fill other spots on this ball club. Davis flies one into center. Back is Granderson, and just in front of the track, he hauls it in to end the inning. Davis gave it a ride, but Ike is now 1 for 2 on the night. David Wright is 1 for 3, but that one just counted for a run. Home run number 8 on the year. 2-1 Mets. He likes it after 5.5. inning. Yankees have their big bats, starting with Granderson, who took a strike. Now we'll see how Dylan G pitches with the lead. 2-1 thanks to home runs by Quintanilla and then David Wright. That's low. By the way, Carlos Beltran, who was in that highlight with his 17th to lead the National League, is an early pupil of Kevin Long in their time in the Kansas City Royals organization. And you can't go too long talking about Kevin Long without talking about the job he's done changing the approach, especially against left-handers, by the guy at the plate, Curtis Granderson.
22 home runs by Granderson against left-handers over the last year and a half. That leads the major leagues. That's remarkable to hit that many against tough left-handed pitching.
That was the big knock against him in that three-way deal when he came to the Yankees. But he has really fulfilled promise here with the Yankees. 3-2, and he's on to start the inning. Third walk handed out by G after David Wright just gave him a lead. Alex Rodriguez coming in.
Two walks, make that 3 walks given up by G tonight, all open the inning. It opened the third, a leadoff walk in the fourth, a leadoff walk in the sixth.
Rodriguez, who has the only RBI tonight for the Yankees, stands in. And that bends him back off the plate. 91-mile-an-hour fastball rode up and in.
That ball just tailing inside to Alex Rodriguez. A-Rod, lucky he didn't pull a muscle or sprain an ankle trying to get out of the way of that ball.
I thought the same thing. Bent him in a way he wasn't expecting coming in to this third plate appearance. He's 1 for 2. Here comes a 1-0 from Dylan G. Fastball up and in. Rodriguez went after it. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Said it many, many times. This is where American League pitchers try to pitch Rodriguez, up and in.
Very small lead by Granderson, who has stolen 3, been caught 3 times, and he's back with little effort. Tying run at first, nobody out. Rodriguez now, Cano to follow, and then Teixeira. In the air to left center. Will it carry? Back in front of the track, tagging is Granderson. Bay's throw is too late. Good base running, and it's a deep fly ball, productive out by Rodriguez. Tying run at second, 1 away.
Thanks to the base running of Curtis Granderson, it is a productive out. Jason Bay catching this ball, backing up, and now by the time he throws to second, Granderson in there easily. Excellent base running. You see Dylan G trying to crowd Rodriguez. He didn't get it in as far as he wanted, but he got the out.
Now it's Cano, who has singled to left and fouled out down the left field line. He has been dialing up the home run ball of late. 8 homers in his last 19 coming in. The Yankees have not won a game this season when they have not homered.
0-12 with no home runs.
They have yet to go deep tonight, leading the big leagues with 88 on the season.
Dylan G's going to try to pitch Robinson Cano right here like it's 0-2 or 1-2. Don't give him anything fat to hit early in the count.
On the other hand, if you're Robinson Cano, you look for an off-speed pitch. Got to think right along with him.
That off-speed pitch dips down and away, ball one. Tying run, Granderson, 1 out, 1-0 pitch. Not close. And Cano was basically backing out of there as the pitch was delivered. It's 2-0. The 2-0 taking all the way, and it's 2-1. Our Jeep game summary, 9 o'clock straight up, and it's rather easy. Alex Rodriguez with an RBI hit in the first. The Yankees missed a chance for a big inning with the bases loaded, hit into a double play. And since then, Quintanilla tied it with a home run. David Wright moments ago put the Mets on top with his 8th of the year. The 2-1. 3-1. And
so
he
far,
is very careful here.
Excuse me, Joe. So far, the biggest pitch of the game was that 2-2 pitch to Raul Ibanez in the first inning with the bases loaded. Sometimes game situations come early in the game as opposed to late.
Here is a 3-1 pitch. Full count.
Got him to go after a bad ball. That pitch up and away to Robinson Cano. 3-1 and a little too anxious. See the disgust on Cano's face. Not like facing his dad in the home run hitting contest,
no,
is it?
Not at all. Jose, his father, who helped Robinson win the home run derby last year in Arizona. Therefore, he gets to be the captain of the American League squad this year. 3-2. Broken bat, ground ball to the right side, fielded by Murphy. 2 out. Over to third is Granderson. It's up to Teixeira.
This is a terrific job of pitching by Dylan G. As we go through the sequence, the changeup misses outside. So does the fastball. Cano taking all the way. The 3-1 pitch now is the pitch that got him out as he grounds weakly towards second on the change on the full count. Good piece of pitching by G.
Now a mild shift on the infield with Teixeira at the plate. Runner at third, the tying run. Strike one from Dylan G. It's not too exaggerated except for Murphy playing out in shallow right. Tying run at third, 2 out, the 0-1. It's 2 wide, a ball and a strike. Try to launch one on a breaking ball, down and in, strike 2.
That might be the best breaking ball that G has thrown in this game. Wanders in at the knees to Teixeira.
Boone Logan getting loose. G trying to get around his third leadoff walk of the night. It's 2-2.
Totally faking toward third, toward Granderson. Nobody was there. David Wright was 30 feet away from third base.
Counts 2-2. Driven into right. At the wall. Yankees lead 3-2. Home run number 11 for Mark Teixeira on a line to right.
Ooh, that was a hanger. You remember that pitch before that? That was a breaking ball down and in.
Here's one that gets through Ike Davis for a base hit, as Davis couldn't make the play to his right on a scorcher hit by Ibanez. Back to the home run.
That was the hanger. The pitch before, the good curveball, the home run, the bad one.
For the Yankees, their major league leading 89th home run of the season. Teixeira has 11 of them. And their one-run lead is back. Let's go back to the good curveball.
There's the good one. A biter down and in. But G coming back with that breaking ball. That was not a good one, and the Yankees take the lead.
The ball hit by Ibanez ruled a hit off the glove of Ike Davis, and now Swisher 1 on, 2 out, 2 runs in. That puts the starter Phil Hughes in line for a win if his night is finished, if the Yankees hang on. Phil Hughes is at 102 pitches on the night. And we saw Boone Logan getting loose. The Mets in the 7th will have the bottom 3 in their lineup, starting with Jason Bay. He may go back out there. Here's the 0-1. Strike 2. Mark Teixeira, who has been playing with a paralyzed vocal cord. Talked a lot about that deep bronchial cough that he'd been dealing with for the better part of 2 months to start the season. And one of his 2 vocal cords is paralyzed, which has taken the punch out of his voice and has led to that terrible coughing. It's been so bad at times, it's led him into actually throwing up. That's how hard he's been coughing and using all those stomach muscles, and
for 2 months.
For 2 months. Right side, and Davis makes the play. Teixeira has made the difference. The 2 out, 2-run shot on baseball night in America with that. Yankees lead at 3-2 as we go to the last third of this game. Back after this from your local Fox station. To work with Bay to lead it off. He's flied out twice. Totally to follow, then Quintanilla. Logan in the bullpen. Strike one. Hughes has thrown as hard as 94 tonight. We're in the seventh. 3-2 Yankees lead on the home run by Mark Teixeira. That's wide. A ball and a strike.
Best way to be welcomed back if you're Jason Bay is to get a big hit right here. 0 for 5 since his return.
Had a fractured rib in April, was on the disabled list, and then on his way back had a severe sinus infection and didn't play his first 2 games after rejoining the team. A check swing and the count 2-1. Year 3 of a 4-year deal for Jason Bay, and he gets under it. He's 0 for 3. As Jeter backs up and now gives way to Ibanez. 1 out in the 7th. This past Tuesday at MLB's first ever All-Star leadoff event, players Matt Kemp, Matt Joyce, and Robinson Cano explained that winning the game is important.
You know, home field advantage is definitely an advantage. So, you know, we're out there playing as hard as we can and trying to win the games.
When the game starts, you know, you want to win. You know, it's a competition, and we everybody knows what's at stake.
We're trying to be a hero. I mean, we want to go to an All-Star game and get a hit and help the team to win a game.
So thoughts from 3 guys in Manhattan, and we look ahead to Tuesday, July 10th in Kansas City for the Major League Baseball All-Star Game on the air at 7:30 Eastern Time. Here's a breaking ball that Tolle hits into left. Good play by Ibanez to hold him to a 1-out single. And here comes Joe Girardi with Quintanilla coming up, and we're going to see Logan right now.
Talk about a game being predictable with Phil Hughes. He's faced 25 Mets on the evening, and he's thrown 3 ground balls.
Here comes Logan. Out goes Hughes. Yankees lead by 1 in the 7th. By Budweiser. Nice night in the Bronx. Good game. Top of the 7th inning. Phil Hughes threw 108 pitches, and now he will turn into a spectator watching Boone Logan, the left-hander, with Quintanilla. and then Neuenhuis, two left-handed hitters. The next two up there. Quintanilla's homered tonight. He hit his third major league home run when he tied it back in the third. He takes a strike from the hard-throwing left-hander Logan.
And you might be thinking, why no pinch hitter right here? Well, the Mets don't have any other shortstops. Quintanilla has to hit right here, and Joe Girardi, of course, knows that.
It's been a defense that's let the Mets down during this week in particular. That's outside. The Mets have committed 47 errors. By comparison, the Yankees have committed 23. So more than twice as many errors as the Yankees. And Daniel Murphy had a 2-error night in Washington. The shortstop position and Valdespin had a rough night as they lost 2 of 3 to the Nationals. A 1-1. Strike 2, and Quintanilla hangs in there pretty well against the lefty. 1-2.
Terry Collins saying those first 2 games in Washington exposed the things that we need to get fixed.
And for a team that's actually been outscored total during the course of the season, they cannot give extra outs. The 1-2. Quintanilla flies one into left center field. This ball's well hit. Back is Granderson. What a catch. On the dead run in left center field. Out number 2 in the inning.
I'm not sure Tolley touched second base on the way back to first. Granderson, playing shallow, makes a nice running catch. Now, if you round second base, going back to first, you have to step on second. With the naked eye, he went to the outfield side. There's the step. No, he did step on it.
But he's trying to
score.
Yeah, I mean, he's looking at that ball hit with as far as Granderson had to go.
That's the proper play. You round the bag. Granderson's back's to the infield, so you can even take a couple of more steps. And the throwback not in time, but Curtis wanted to just get it back into the infield.
How about Quintanilla? He hit that ball a long way.
After a home run, a second time up.
Now it'll be Scott Hairston coming off the bench. And Scott, look at the 8 home runs. He's been so good. 7 of his 8 home runs have been against left-handed pitchers, and the move of Hairston coming to the plate forces the move of Corey Wade coming in out of the bullpen. And Logan comes in to get one loud out on that shot into left center field by Quintanilla. Logan did his job. Wade coming in. Wheels are turning in the 7th with the Yankees leading 3-2. Continues. The Braves head to Baltimore to take on the Orioles, who would try to keep pace in the AL East. So the Reds go to Queens to take on these Mets. Astros, Rangers, Red Sox, Cubs, Marlins, Rays. Baseball Night in America, presented by Budweiser, begins next Saturday at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, only on Fox. Check local listings for the game and time in your area. This has been one of the more consistent members of any bullpen, let alone the Yankees, throughout baseball this year. Corey Wade dealing with Hairston, who's hit 2 pinch hit home runs this season. And he takes strike one.
One of the more reliable pinch hitters in the game, too.
Great fastball hitter is Hairston. You see the splits against right-handers, only one of his 8 home runs. But in just over 100 at-bats, has 8. Let's that fastball go by a bit high in the count 1-1.
See Nick Swisher, the right fielder, back near the track. Now, Hairston doesn't have that kind of power to hit it that far to the right side. But Swisher in a no doubles defense, keeping everything in front of him.
That misses outside, 2-1. So Hairston batting for Neuenhuis, who was 1 for 2 with a walk, a double, and a ground out. Scott Hairston waits and takes a strike. It's 2-2.
Right there.
2 out, tying run at first here in the 7th. Little floater off the end of the bat into right. That's a base hit. Tolley will turn and go to third, and now the tying run is 90 feet away. Hairston delivers off the bench for the Mets.
They're probably saying on the Mets bench that he hit it like you threw it. It was about a 67-mile-an-hour curveball right off the end of the bat, allowing Tolley a chance to go to third base easily.
So a guy who's been pounding home runs hits one over the second base position for a pinch hit single. Dylan G wondering how this top of the 7th is going to end up, as Phil Hughes can watch Corey Wade with Andres Torres at the plate, and a foul out of play, strike one. Torres is 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. He missed a chance with a runner at second back in the 5th. In a tie game at the time when he struck out looking against Hughes. Now he waits for the 0-1. Clay Rapata, the other left-hander, getting loose for the Yankees out in their pen.
Not every pitch is designed to get you out. That pitch was designed to get Torres away from the plate so Wade could go back outside. Nope. Coming inside. Russell Martin moving inside. That's a dangerous pitch to a guy that you've handled all night away, especially in this situation. 1-run ball game in the 7th.
Hitting over 400 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position this season, as Torres is now in the hole 1-2. On deck is the Mets' biggest threat, but at the plate is Andres Torres, and on the mound is Corey Wade. A step to third, look to first move. In case, with 2 strikes and 2 outs, the Mets try and steal a run by starting the runner over at first, Hairston.
I don't think that'll happen. Tolley's too slow at third to score.
The 1-2 runner goes outside, no throw, and now a base hit could put the Mets on top. Stolen base by Scott Hairston.
Good call, partner. Not even a play. And now the go-ahead run is in scoring position at second base. Fastball misses away, and Martin didn't have a throw. I think Martin's out talking to Wade, saying, look, if you throw a ball just off the plate, we'll pitch to right. But I think you have to go get Torres right here. I think right's a bigger threat.
2 balls, 2 strikes, second and third, 2 out. Pop fly into left should end the inning. Ibanez is there, and the Mets strand a couple. Logan and Wade bail Hughes out of the 7th. Mets have stranded 6 on the night. And as we go to the bottom of the 7th, Yankees lead by 1. It is baseball night in America, and a beautiful night here at Yankee Stadium. You look at the line score as we move to the bottom of the 7th inning, a 3-2 Yankee lead, and they will come to bat here at the stadium. Tonight's game is sponsored by the all-new Mazda CX-5 with 35 highway MPG. By the makers of One A Day Men's, the official multivitamin of MLB. Yesterday, after a visit to the fan cave, Mets rookie Kirk Neuenhuis and Yankees rookie Cody Epley headed to Yankee Stadium on the number 4 train. Dressed in full uniform, causing quite a stir. You can watch MLB Fan Cave player videos and stay up to date on the latest cave happenings by visiting MLBFanCave.com. You can follow MLB Fan Cave on Twitter and like the MLB Fan Cave on Facebook. Be a nice little surprise if you're riding the number 4 out to Yankee Stadium and
promoting the intercity matchup between the Mets and the Yankees.
It all makes sense.
Oh man,
the world has changed since Fan Cave was introduced.
A world-changing event at Fan Cave.
Scott Hairston stays in the game. He's in right. Dylan G back to work. He's been good, trying to go 7 here tonight. Big day around the area, no doubt. You've got the Yankees and Mets Subway Series, 16th season of that here at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Union Rags wins the 144th Belmont Stakes. And we understand the Devils are winning 2-1 over the Kings in Game 5.
And the Kings have not lost a road game in the postseason.
The Kings went through, let me see if I can get it, Vancouver, St. Louis, then Phoenix, and now trying to complete the run for their first Stanley Cup by beating the Devils and Martin Brodeur. Bottom of the 7th, 3-2 Yankees, and they bat with Chavez first up. Righty and a lefty. Burdak, the left-hander, leads the big leagues in appearances, and Bobby Parnell, the hard-throwing right-hander, as Chavez digs his way in. Eric 0 for 2. Ball from Dylan G, who with 2 out last inning gave up a 2-run shot to Mark Teixeira. Difference in the game so far, the 1-0. Strike one. G is off a no decision on Monday as the Mets tried to complete a 4-game sweep over the Cardinals. Cardinals won that game 5-4. Dylan went 7, allowed a couple of unearned runs. He was a part of it. 6 hits, 8 strikeouts. Left a 3-3 game. That's into left. Easy for Bay. 1 out. Chavez is 0 for 3. Bring in Russell Martin, who's 0 for 2. Bottom 3 in the lineup are a combined 0 for 8. Martin's grounded out twice, both times to David Wright over at third. Mets in the 8th inning will have the heart of their lineup. David Wright, Lucas Duda, and Daniel Murphy. Strike one. That was pitch number 100 on the night. The 26-year-old right-hander out of Cleburne, Texas. Ball one. Ball and a strike on Russell Martin. That's strike 2. See the patch and the honor and the tribute that the Mets organization pays to the late and great Gary Carter. Passed away this year, dealing with a brain tumor, and such a big part of what they were back in the mid-'80s and winning it all back in '86.
Gary coming to the Mets in 1985, and he left too soon at 57 years old.
2-2 pitch is swung on and missed, and that's strikeout number 4 on the night for Dylan G, and he keeps on rolling. Probably like to have just one pitch back of late, and that was that breaking ball to Teixeira. Here's Jeter. Derek has been on base twice with a single, a run scored, a walk. He struck out his last time. Started the night with 75 hits, second highest total in the American League. Miguel Cabrera led the way at the start of the day with 76. Showing bunt, didn't pull back in time. Strike one.
To not play for Derek Jeter with 2 out and nobody on. I guess he thought it was a gimme with Ike Davis, first baseman, playing so deep at first base.
Fighting it off, fouling it off. Strike 2. Jeter number 14 on the all-time hit list. Cal Ripken Jr. is next up. And he's set up here at 0-2. Coming up on his 38th birthday, he waits for an 0-2 and almost walked right into it. Ball one.
You could see Derek say, wow. Too close for comfort. There's the wow.
And that look from Dylan G as it got away from him inside, but effective. 1-2 the count. That's on the outside corner, and that formula's been working since Abner Doubleday was born. Up and in, then go away, and the strikeout, the 5th of the night. Good night for Dylan G, but he and the Mets down by 1 after 7. It's just joined us because the game flew by in St. Louis between the Indians and Cardinals. The guy at the plate hit a home run back in the top of the sixth that put the Mets on top of the Yankees for moments until the bottom of the sixth. There's Dylan G, the starter for the Mets, who gave up a 2-out 2-run home run to Mark Teixeira to make it 3-2 Yankees, and that's where we are in the top of the eighth. David Wright is homered tonight, and he's 1 for 3 overall. That's us, Joe, Tim, and Kenny, as we play in the eighth. Here's a 1-1. Pitch missed for ball 2. On the mound right now is Corey Wade. He took over for Boone Logan last inning. Phil Hughes, the starter, pitched into the 7th. Dylan G, the starter for the Mets, has pitched 7 strong. Ground ball to Jeter. That is automatic. 1 away. Here is our game summary. If you're just joining us, David Wright, the solo home run in the 6th inning. Teixeira answered and did one better. Phil Hughes in line for the win if the Yankee bullpen hangs on, and Dylan G is doing all he can for the Mets. 8th inning after a 9-1 Yankee win last night behind Hiroki Kuroda over Johan Santana. Now Rapata, the left-hander, is getting loose with Duda coming up, and then Soriano, the closer now for the Yankees, is left and throwing in the Yankee pen. That's it for Corey Wade. He did his job. He is out of the ball game with 1 out in the 8th. Rapata takes over in a 1-run game. Fox Baseball. It's brought to you and presented by Budweiser. We're in the top of the 8th inning, 1 out, nobody on. Every team, it seems, is looking for either a left-hander or a good second left-hander. The Yankees have a good one in Boone Logan. They're hoping Rapata can settle in. ERA 4.3, his 24th game, and he's got 2 lefties coming up. Soriano getting ready in the bullpen. That's fouled by Lucas Duda, who's 1 for 3 on the night. There's Soriano, who is perfect in save chances since Mariano Rivera went down on the 3rd of May during batting practice in Kansas City with a torn ACL. Here is a 1-1 pitch. Jammed him. Easy for Cano. 2 out. Right-hander Bobby Parnell getting loose for the Mets in their pen. In the bottom of this 8th inning, the big bats will come up for the Yankees. Granderson, Alex Rodriguez, and Robinson Cano. Here's Daniel Murphy, another lefty, with yet another on deck.
You know, Joe, I've never quite figured out how a left-handed pitcher who drops down can be effective against left-handed hitters, and not necessarily a right-handed pitcher that drops down would have that same effectiveness against a right-handed hitter.
It's the Earth's rotation. Simple.
Makes as much sense as anything I've heard espoused before that.
If the Earth was spinning the other way, the reverse would be true. And lefties that drop down could not get left-handers out.
It's the old Bill Lee line.
Here with 2 out, nobody on is an 0-1, and there you go. Drop down, and Murphy comes up empty, strike 2.
Bill Lee said that right-handers think with the left sides of their mind and left-handers with the right sides of their mind, which means that left-handers are the only ones in their right minds.
Here's a ground ball left side. Jeter to his right. The bullpen does its job in the 8th for the Yankees. Big bats coming up. 3-2. Yanks on top. Taste by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's. And by Just for Men. Mustache and beard, keep living the dream. East 162nd River Avenue, Yankee Stadium. And we're coming on camera. This is our little spot right here in Yankee Stadium. I'm Joe. That's Tim. Kenny is down below, and a good game here in the Bronx.
Excellent game. Little booth and a big ballpark.
That's right.
I think that's the first thing that hits you when you come into the new Yankee Stadium. No, the ballpark.
It is as pretty outside as it is inside. This is some monument to this franchise. And a breaking ball from Bobby Parnell is strike 1 to Curtis Granderson. Granderson, Rodriguez, and Cano. Parnell's got great velocity. Can hit a mitt and light up a radar gun in the upper 90s. Trying to keep it 3-2. As we play in the bottom of the 8th. Here's a 1-1. Ripped into right. Back at the wall, and it's gone. He did not keep it 3-2. It's 4-2 Yankees on a home run by Granderson, number 18.
Curtis Granderson is not the type of guy who hits line drive home runs. But this one, a fastball right down the pipe, is a line drive home run.
58th game of the season for the Yankees and home run number 90 for this New York team to lead the major leagues.
18 for Granderson.
Now Rodriguez, who is hitting 9. Breaking ball's a strike from Parnell. Rodriguez had the first RBI of the night back in the first inning, a bouncing base hit into center to score Jeter. Mets tied it in the third, led in the sixth. Yankees with 3 runs since. Another good breaking ball, strike 2. Nobody on or out. The Yankees have their biggest lead of the night. A little more breathing room for Soriano in the 9th inning. Fastball at 96, down and away, ball 1. Finale of this series is tomorrow. John Neese, the left-hander, and Andy Pettitte. Here comes a 1-2. Struck him out. 98 from Parnell. 1 out in the 8th.
A-Rod with an RBI in the first inning goes down on a good high fastball from Parnell.
So now Cano, who's 1 for 3. He was frustrated with his at bat in the 6th inning with a man on and 1 out. Got up on the count with a runner at second, down by a run. Up on the count, 3-1, grounded out. He is 1 for 3. First pitch, a ball. 3 batters in this inning. Parnell has gone with a pitch other than the fastball. That was a fastball, 96, in the count, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Good velocity, good location, right on the corner away to Cano.
Yankees trying to win tonight to stay a half game out in the AL East. That's out of play. Strike 2. Tampa Bay is taking care of the Miami Marlins 11-4. Top of the 8th. Soriano, who since 2010 is 55 of 61 in save opportunities, and he's now the closer for the Yankees, even with David Robertson on his way back. And he's getting closer and closer. He'll keep Soriano at the end of the bullpen. 45 saves 2 seasons ago for Tampa Bay and Joe Madden. The 1-2 struck him out. 99 from Parnell. 2 out. Tonight's Burger King smooth plays of the game. They involve this man, Curtis Granderson, with that running catch back in the 7th inning. And then for good measure, home run number 18. Moments ago to lead off this 8th inning and give the Yankees a 2-run lead. Another solo shot for Granderson with 2 out, nobody on. Here's Teixeira. A chopper. And Parnell takes it to the bag. That's it. But it started with Granderson. The home run makes it 4-2. Soriano will take over and try and save it for Hughes when we come back. Field takes over for Raul Ibanez, and here's Rafael Soriano. Since May 4th, which is the day after Mariano Rivera went down, he's 8 for 8 with a good ERA in 12 games, and this is a Yankee bullpen that overall since that date 10 of 11 in saving ball games, and Ike Davis is the first opponent for Soriano.
Because Ike Davis is a left-handed hitter, I thought what Joe Girardi might do is leave Rapata in to pitch to Davis and then make the move for Soriano. But some stoppers and closers don't like to come in the middle of the inning.
91-mile-per-hour pitch hits the outside corner, strike one to Ike Davis. Home run by Granderson really gives Soriano a chance to make a mistake.
Pick up an easier save, right?
2-run lead as Ike Davis is up there looking like he's ready to launch one. 93 misses inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Soriano, as I mentioned, saved 45 games 2 years ago for the Tampa Bay Rays. He was paid a lot of money to come here and help set up for Mariano Rivera, and his results were inconsistent. He likes it better at the back end, and one of the things he's learned from Rivera seems simple, but he said just slow down. The action will not start until you do something when you're in to close a game, and you can see the deliberate action of Soriano, who's behind on the count 2-1. And now 3-1 as he misses high.
The good closers take a step back instead of a step forward. Controls your breathing better.
The last 3 outs are different, especially in a tight, well-played game as we've had here tonight.
I think Soriano wanted those pitches, 2 of those pitches. Joe Girardi, the manager, can't see whether it's outside or inside, but he can tell whether it's above the knees. Very, very close.
I was going to say the same thing you did. You can read it in the body language of Soriano, the frustration not getting strikes from Tim Sheeta. As it is, it's Jason Bay, who's 0 for 3 tonight, hitless since coming back. Obviously a big home run man in his career, looking to try and pop one here for the Mets. Strike one. 93 from Soriano. Bay was on the disabled list since April 24th with a broken rib. Came back this week when the Mets were in Washington. Hit 21 home runs in 2+ years with the Mets, and he pops this one into center. Got under it, and Granderson to his left has out number 1. Tonight's Mazda better moment. Mark Teixeira with 2 out and a man on put the Yankees on top with a 2-run shot in the 6th inning. Tonight's better moment brought to you by Mazda. Better, stronger, smarter. Home run number 11 on the year for Teixeira. Here's Tolley, who has 1 home run this season. Just outside, ball 1.
With the outfield shifted around toward left field, if you're going to guard the line to protect against the double, then move your third baseman, not your first baseman, toward the line. Because Tolley's more apt to hit the ball to left field than he is to pull it. Right now, Chavez is about straight up.
Guy on deck, the shortstop, Quintanilla's homer tonight, hit the ball hard. This is slowly hit. Tough to turn 2 out at second, no throw to first. And the force out leaves the Mets with 1 out to go. Down by 2 here in the 9th inning.
Jeter taking the sure out at second base.
And here is Quintanilla, who has homered. And then he's the one that drove the gap in left center field to chase Granderson. Here's his home run, third of his big league career, first of the season off Hughes, to tie the game back in the third. And then we showed you on the smooth play of the game, Granderson racing back to his right to get that ball well hit of Boone Logan. The bat of Quintanilla in the seventh. That's a strike on the outside corner. 0-1 on Quintanilla.
Every fastball to left-handed hitters has been in that slot, low and away. He's missed with some as Frank Francisco warms for the Mets.
Here comes the 0-1.
Away again.
On the outside part, it's 0-2. And now Soriano, who walked the leadoff man here in the ninth inning, is one strike away from his ninth save and as many chances since taking over this spot, formerly manned by the best in the history of the game. Rivera. The 0-2. Too far outside. Probably exactly where Soriano wanted it. Ball one.
Right.
Jordanny Valdespin on deck. Their big bat on the bench has already been used. Scott Hairston. The 1-2. Ruben Tejada, the 22-year-old shortstop who started the year and who has a pulled right quad, is going to get back into a game on Monday. But right now it's Quintanilla. Here's a 1-2. 2-2. If the Mets don't rally since Monday, they will have lost 5 of 6. Including game 4 of that set against St. Louis after winning the first 3 on brilliant starting pitching. Up the middle, off Soriano, a base hit. Quintanilla keeps it alive, and going to third is Tolley with 2 out. And Quintanilla's had good at bats all night.
Soriano missed away right down the middle, then can't feel the ground ball, scoots by Cano, and that is not insignificant, seeing Josh Tolley go to third base. Because if he gets a jump and Soriano does not have a good move to first, Quintanilla can steal second and put himself in a position where with one hit they could tie the game.
Unless there's an injury to Scott Hairston, I don't understand this move at all. This is Hairston's spot. He singled his only time up after pinch hitting for Neuenhuis. He's hit 8 home runs, and instead it's Jordanny Valdespin off the bench to bat for Hairston.
Had a hit against a right-hander, but keep in mind Hairston only a 170 hitter against right-handed pitcher. Valdespin, his first major league hit was a home run. That happened in Philadelphia. Terry Collins would love to see that again.
Up and away, ball one. In fact, he got Papelbon
right
when he hit that home run, and now he is looking for something dramatic against the Yankee closer Soriano. Runners at the corners, tying run at first. Quintanilla 2 out, and a breaking ball in for a strike from Soriano.
First breaking ball of the inning by Soriano.
Looking for his 9th save overall. Trying to save it for Philly Hughes, who would go to 6-5. A check on the tying run, Quintanilla, who has not attempted a steal in the limited work he's had for the Mets this season. The 1-1. Strike 2.
Trying to hit another home run with that swing.
Yankees trying to win for the 12th time in their last 16 games. That's a tie run at first with 2 out. The Mets have been so good with 2 out all season long. Looking for another 2-out hit. Runner goes on a pop-up into left center field. The Yankees win game 2 of this 3-game set as Dwayne Wise squeezes it in left, and the Yankees win it a final of 4-2. And Rafael Soriano gets save number 9 in a 2-hour 48-minute game. Hughes the winner, G the loser. For Tim and Ken, we'll step aside. Matt Vasgersian, Harold Reynolds in the MLB Network studios coming up after this.